We have another really exciting interview for you today. But just before we get into it, I will reintroduce myself. My name is Vicky and I am the manager of Fresh Perspective Resourcing. We are a recruitment company based in Chorley. And for a bit of moral support to help me with the interviewing, I do have Laura Leyland here. Say hello, Laura.
Hello.
What is it that you do?
I'm the managing director at Fresh Perspective. I was the guest last time. If you've listened, hopefully you're having your returning listener. But yeah, I'm here for moral support and just, got a bit of FOMO.
Yeah, and you're on the other side today, which is nice.
It's always nice to be on the other side of the fence.
Yes. So we should really introduce who we're interviewing, shouldn't we? So we have Ruby Allen here from Slate Developments. But do you want to tell us, firstly say hello, Ruby.
Hi.
Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, that type of thing?
Of course, yeah. So my name is Ruby Allen. So I am the Operations Director for Slate Developments and We Limited. So we are a commercial and industrial construction company based in the northwest, but we do operate nationwide. So we do anything sort of from demolition, from the ground up. So we build things, we do shop fit outs. We work for a number of big logistics companies in their warehouses with flooring, concrete, etc. And then with some big retailers as well, doing dilapidation works and retail fit outs. But we do lots of other things as well.
Very nice. Now, we have done our research on you. We've done a deep dive. You actually have 3 businesses, don't you? Yeah.
How do you have the time to have 3 businesses?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm going like this morning. I feel like I have felt like I was going crazy. I feel like I've been chasing my tail a little bit this morning, but I feel like I prefer to be busy than not be busy, and it keeps me occupied. It keeps my mind occupied.
Good. What are your other 2 businesses that you have?
So we also have an automotive garage, so we do services and repairs on vehicles. Again, that kind of stems back to us being a family-run business. So that is Mark, my fiance, and the director of Slate. His dad is a mechanic, so he works in the garage for us. So that is another family-run business. And then I recently set up Aura Vestige Collective. So we are a company that do event management. We do expos as well. So we'll do expo stand design and build. We also work with brand ambassadors and influencers just to add that sort of special vibe to your event and anything that you're planning. So that comes from a background where I've done expos all around the world, from Paris to Dubai to Germany, which is something I really enjoyed. So I thought I'd bring that back in because it's something I'm really passionate about, and also I can include the construction side with the stand build. So I've got a great design team, and then we've got a great team that can build them as well.
Where did the name come from for that company?
Well, it sounds really glam.
Yeah.
But it does. When you describe it, it sounds really glam.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really want to have an event just so you can organise it in Paris with an influencer.
Or Dubai. Yes.
So I feel like I was searching for names, and naturally you kind of always want to go with like Allen Events or Ruby's Events or Jem's Events. So you always go to things like that. So I'm not going to lie, ChatGPT did help a little bit with this one.
That is our best friend, ChatGPT.
So obviously we've got the aura and the effect of an aura and the impact it has and the ripple effect, and that's where it comes into sort of the branding and how we work with brands to make that ripple effect and that lasting effect. And then so the Vestige and Collective, again, it's all about bringing it together as one, as a collective, something that's memorable, something that stands the test of time and that's impactful. You don't want to go to an event or an expo and come away not remembering anything about the brand that's done it. So it's all about creating that lasting impact for a brand, so you're one that's remembered.
Oh, I love that.
That's a lovely answer.
What's been your favourite kind of event or expo that you've done so far?
Some of the fun ones I would probably say probably come from where I previously used to work. So we did one for Intertobacco in Germany, and we had an absolutely huge stand. It was a very stressful time organising and preparing everything for that. More so was getting things through customs and things like that. But for the first time in the company's history, we made it through without a hitch, thanks to a lot of planning, a lot of preparation, and a lot of amazing people that I was surrounded by that made it all come together to make sure that we weren't going to get held up at customs, so we could put on a great show. But I think for me, it's the people that you're with and the how it brings sort of like a fun aspect to it as well, and you're surrounded by people who are, you know, you're there to do a job at the end of the day. You are there to sell your product or your service, but it's about encompassing fun into that, making it enjoyable for the people that come onto the stand, for you, and really letting your brand shine through. And for me, it's about bringing that brand to life. And that's definitely what we did in Germany, and it was definitely one to remember.
Do you work with loads of different industries when you're doing your expo
So
stuff?
now I try to sort of home in on the fitness industry.
Okay, yeah, obviously.
So I also, you may or may not know, I know you've done a deep dive on me. I was at one
Saying deep dive, it sounds so like professional.
Yeah, it does.
I like it. So I do have an Instagram, Ruby Hikes, and I not so much now. I've come away from the page to focus on other things, but I was a hiking influencer, worked with some incredible brands. I know some other incredible influencers. So hiking, mountains, outdoors, fitness, has and always will be my thing. It's something that I can specialise in, home in on, and obviously I've got a lot of people I can reach out to sort of in that industry as well. So preferably it'd be something like that, because I can bring, you know, all my passion, expertise and everything as well into that.
Okay, so my next question was going to be like, what was the spark that made you start the business? But I suppose it's just all kind of like gone through the motions, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I think it's definitely passion. And then I actually had a meeting with my old boss, who had a chat with me, and he was like, why don't you set up? Because it'd be something that we definitely utilise. And it was a job that I absolutely loved, and I did love working for them. So it was like the opportunities there, obviously, to work with them again. And then I just thought, yeah, why not? And it was at a point where I thought this is my chance to create something, you know, for me, and something that I'm passionate about. And not that I'm not, construction has been a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And I am also very passionate about that. I kind of wanted my own baby to nurture, and something to do something that I'm passionate about, and something that I know I can add value to for people.
I love that. These are such good answers, Ruby. I love it.
I'm like, am I saying this right? I'm like trying to remember everything I've said.
Are you sure you've not prepped for this? Was there a gap in the market that you were trying to fill when you were setting up your own business?
So I feel like within the UK, because I primarily used to work overseas in Europe and further afield, Dubai, America, etc. I kind of know some of the big players in the game that do stand design and build, and they are incredible. They are phenomenal people, but they do tend to stay to industry specific as well, which you do find. And I think it's more that I feel like within the UK, we're not as big as, we do obviously have the NEC in Birmingham, but when you go to other countries, Germany, especially in Europe, Germany, Paris, they are all about expos, and it's a big, and they're very passionate about it. And I feel like in the UK, we don't utilise them as much. I don't know whether there's a specific reason for that, but I think it's opening people's eyes as to what we can gain from an expo. And I think people go with thinking you're immediately going to get success from an expo, but you're not. It is something that you have to nurture over time. You have to know what you're going in to get, know what you want to get from it, and make sure you've set your stall out from the off with that, because it is investing a lot of money. So you do want to make sure you're getting something from that. But I think you also have to understand that it's not it's not something that immediately happens overnight. And I think in the UK, I think we are sort of the industry that kind of want everything there and now. And if you can't see immediate, then you're not getting something back from it. So I definitely think there is a gap in the market there for utilising expos in the correct manner.
Yeah, because I suppose, like, when you have these, like, your stands at these expos, you're with all your competition, aren't you?
Yes.
Like, that's who you're in a room with.
Yeah.
And you have to stand out from them, don't you? Yeah. So it must be quite difficult to...
It is.
Especially, like, you know, if we just rocked up to an expo, we wouldn't have a clue what we were doing, would we?
No, so we have been to 3.
All right, this was before my time.
This was BV before Vicky.
Yeah.
So like you've explained, I had no idea what we were doing. We were going to go. They weren't industry specific, so we weren't there with our boxing gloves on with all the other recruiters. But it was just other businesses in the Northwest. We had a stand and we got stuff made, and we had a game, and we took things to give away. And then we chatted to people all day, but then after it, you're like, what have we achieved? Like, people have seen us, but you don't know if anything's landed with anybody, and then you don't know if that person is going to come back. And we still to this day don't know if anyone that we have done business with ever saw us at an expo, but it's because we didn't go with a plan. We didn't have Ruby.
Yeah.
To say, right, what do you want to get out of it? Why are you going? What's your purpose? What would be a good outcome here? And then walk it back, I imagine, to figure out what do we need to do? What do we need to take and say? And how do we approach it to try and get that outcome? Yes. And then if you get something along those lines or the outcome, then you've gone and you've achieved it. It's a success. Yeah. So you're making it measurable for people, which I think is really important.
That's it. I think you do need to, and you need to. Everyone just thinks, "Oh, let's take some pens or some balls or something." People
How many
love
pens
it.
have we got
a pen
in there?
with people's name on, but that's an outlay that necessarily you could put elsewhere. I mean, again, where I used to work, they did pink bags, like the Selfridges style bags, and they were pink. Their branding was pink, but we would have people come into the stand saying, "Can I just have a pink bag?" They didn't want anything else, but they would walk around with that pink bag all day. That is screaming your branding everywhere. Everyone knows your colour, your branding. You want to be out there and you want to be memorable and people to remember you. And I think it's knowing where you can get the most value from in a room of competitors and some maybe a lot bigger than you. But it's knowing how to draw people in, get that attention and create that presence, make your presence known and yes, come away with what you require. And it depends where you're wanting to go as a business, what you want from that. Depends on what you're going to drive. But a lot of people just turn up with a roller banner and a little desk and the free pens.
Yeah.
Let's go, everyone's going to want a free pen. But you're getting the same at every stand, so it's important that you bring something different and you know what you're going to take from that, whether that's, you know, data that you're going to utilise in a campaign later down the road, or whether it's on the day meetings are always booking with people that you necessarily wouldn't meet, but you know they're going to be there, drop them a message and say, would you like to meet, we're offering an incentive, anything like that. It's just utilising the time and the space that you've spent a lot of money on.
We need to take this advice on board if we ever go to another expo. So, when we were doing our deep dive on your social media, we're going back to all your fitness things that you do.
She's thinking, holy hell.
What have I posted?
What have I done?
So, it's not bad, don't worry. I know.
I feel like I can just see the word blindfolded. Yeah.
With no context, that is scary. So you have done some crazy challenges. The one that stands out to us is it the drop?
The drop,
that you did, which sounds awful. And this is where the blindfold comes in.
The thing I think of when you say the drop is the £1 million drop. It's not that.
I wish.
No, not that. Okay.
I'm just a secret millionaire.
Do you want to tell us about the drop and try and make it sound good, because it sounds awful from what I've heard.
So one day I wanted to get back into running. I ran my first marathon at 20, so a very long time ago. And I wanted to get back into it, but I didn't really. I'd kind of gone from that to hiking and my love of mountains and just being outdoors, paddleboarding, etc. But I really wanted to bring it back in. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but I did. So I Googled running events, and I was just looking for something a bit different, not a Tough Mudder, not something that involved purely just running, but something with a bit of fun. And the drop came up, and I was like, oh, what's this? So I read through, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. So the aim of the drop is they do it in various locations around the UK. I chose Kendal, obviously, with my love of mountains in the Lake District. So you pick either 10 or 15 miles, and you will be dropped within either a 10 or a 15 mile radius of Kendal, for example. So they do give you a map with sort of a circle where you can see the radius where you can be dropped, and it can be anywhere within that circle. So they blindfold you, put you on a coach, and you are driven to an unknown location. They also give you a sealed bag, and you have to put your phone in it, you're watching it. Anything with GPS has to go in a sealed bag. And then you are not allowed to open that bag, and if you do, you will be disqualified.
So you don't know how far you've gone. You can communicate with no one, and you don't know what time it is.
No.
You don't know how long you've been out or how far.
No.
So you could be running like 10 miles in wrong direction.
Yes. So they do track you. You have a tracker on
Right.
you.
Oh my! I thought they just left me like, oh, she's not turned up, so don't know where she is.
Yeah, I said before, so if you were on your way to Scotland,
Yeah.
they'd come and get you.
That's it. So they give you a 5-hour time limit as well. So if you are running in the wrong direction after 5 hours, they will come and collect you.
You could get a long way in 5 hours.
No, I know, but imagine the shame
I know.
of seeing the van coming to get you. You're like, no, just turn around and run in the other direction.
Just pretend you weren't there. I'm just out for my local run.
Yeah. That's not me.
So yeah, they put you on a coach and they drive you to somewhere. And our coach driver decided to get in on the fun. So I was thinking, right, I know the lakes quite well. I was thinking, right, it's gone left, it's gone this. He actually did a circle before he drove off.
Oh.
And Mark, the guy that runs the event, had told Mark, 'cause Mark was waiting back at the start for me, well, start, finish. So he'd actually told Mark, so when I got back, Mark was like, that's why you'll have been confused. So I remember they dropped us off and you take your blindfold off, so you're a bit disorientated anyway. People do it in teams, pairs. I chose to do it on my own for a bit of added extra feel.
Did you do the 15 miles as well?
So it was during a
course you
storm.
did.
Yeah, no, I did it on my own, 15 miles.
I was blindfolded the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was during, was it the storm? I think it was November time. There was a really bad storm.
Really selling this to me.
So they didn't let anybody do the 15 mile.
Right.
I found out what that would have been, and that would have been grueling. So they knocked us all down to a 10 mile and a slightly different route. So I remember they dropped us off and I got out and I was like, don't know where I am. I do not recognise anything. So obviously the general consensus started going in a direction.
Yeah.
I did see a guy go off on his own that way and I thought, what, does he know something we don't? But I kind of followed the general consensus. I got to a roundabout and then I saw, the gentleman who runs it said, don't follow the road signs for Kendal. Whatever you do, you'll end up out on the road for hours because it's the long way around.
Yeah.
So I saw a road sign and it said Bowness and I thought, it's the lakes. Let's head that way.
Yeah.
So I headed that way and then I saw this wooden sign. I feel like it was everything I'd been waiting for. It was a little finger point and it said Kendal and I was like, so it was up this hill and I was like, so I'm giving it my best shot. And then you got to kind of a bit of a junction and there was nothing. There was no signs, no nothing. So it's one way or another. So I was kind of trying to figure out where I was and I thought, I'm better off going left, which is actually the wrong way.
Oh, no.
So then we went wrong again because we followed a sign for Kendal when we should have gone another way and it had taken us a shortcut way. By the time we'd got back, everyone was like, oh, hi again, because they'd all kind of taken back over us.
Yeah.
So you start your run again, taking waving at everyone as you go past. Then we got to another bit and a couple that I'd been kind of with for quite a long bit of the way, like we were running at the same speed, we'd gone the same way. They went left and I was like, that looks a bit treacherous. So I was like, I'm just going to carry on. Then this guy convinced me to run through a field with him because he said it'd be the better option. Again, we went wrong. So I was back to being behind these people and then I knew I was in Kendal town centre, so I was like, at this point, I was shattered, but I was like, sprint, you're just going to have to sprint. You just have to sprint it. So I sprinted as quick as I could, like dodging people in Kendal town centre. Everyone's looking at me like I'm a crazy woman in my waterproof, running as quick as I can. And then you have to ring a bell when you get back.
Oh, cool.
Rung the bell, Franco came running over, and then the guy was like, your first female, which was obviously such an incredible feeling. So then I was emotional, I burst into tears. Then I had the little voice inside my head that was like, but I don't think you were the fittest. It's maybe because other people went the wrong way. And I kind of doubted myself.
Yeah.
And I had that moment of self-doubt. But then I drunk my mini bottle of champagne, celebrate.
The best bit.
And yeah, that's the Drop UK. But I would highly recommend it. It's great for team building.
What about if it's not a marathon?
I know, but...
And it's not actually about, they give you 5 hours to do it. It's about just seeing if you can make your way back, and I think it's
I'm not
interesting
good
with
with
a team.
directions. I need a route.
I think I kind of did sort of, when I was researching for it, I was looking at the map and looking for landmarks and like, well, if I'll know if I see this mountain or if I get up high and you see this.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work like that.
No.
It doesn't, because I was just thinking about my time. You don't know how long you've been. You don't know how many miles you've done. So you're just running aimlessly, looking for road signs in hopes that something will direct you in the right way. But that's it. You kind of, everything that you think you're going to use, you don't end up using. So you're just running aimlessly around the lakes.
Not sold it to me. Not sold it. But obviously, so from this,
Yes.
and your marathons and everything that you do, you're obviously quite goal orientated.
I am.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, we're getting deep now. I grew up where I was kind of told by various people that I would amount to nothing, and that I wouldn't become anything. And as a child, hearing that, it stays with you and it resonates with you. And if one thing I was always determined to do, it was to prove those people wrong. Which throughout my journey, I've then realised that is the wrong way of looking at it. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving myself right. And it is about me. It's not about other people.
I love that.
I love that as well.
And it is. It's about proving to me that I am worthy. And even when those moments of self-doubt creep in, whether it's in business, whether it's a challenge, whether it's even at the minute when I'm training and I doubt everything and I'm like, you're never going to do this, you're not going to do it. But then I think, no, but you are, because you're giving it everything. And even if I don't necessarily achieve a time I want or anything like that, I've given it my all and I've given it my absolute everything. And if you give something your everything, then no one can ever ask for any more than that.
No, I completely agree. I love that.
Thank you.
So do you think that with like your challenges you've set outside of work, has that positively impacted you within your businesses?
Yes,
as well?
I think it definitely has, because I think if you've got that fire and that hunger in you to achieve something and when I say I go into things to be the best, it's to be the best that I can be, not better than anyone else. Not, we all want a PB and I'm going into my next challenge wanting, to get a ridiculous. But I think it's more so just if you've got that drive and that fire, that's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps you striving, and whether it's to raise money for a charity or whether it's to deliver the best outcome I can for a client, it all comes from that drive and that determination and that passion.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that. Sorry, I don't know what's happened to my voice. Sounds like I've eaten chocolate, which I haven't, sadly. When you've finished, so talking about your personal goals, when you've finished one, what are you like if you've not got your next goal booked in? And is that when you then look to find your next crazy challenge?
Yes. So
and I say crazy with love because I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
I always like to have something. I think my last one was, it was technically 2023 it was. However, I didn't finish. I was too poorly. I had some health things going on, and my body just wasn't in the right mindset for it. And I don't know if you saw my post on LinkedIn the other day, but it was when we did the National 3, the Yorkshire 3 and the Welsh 3 in 48 hours.
Yes, I did see that.
So
They're not like by halves, these challenges, are they? It's like, we'll take it to the extreme.
Sometimes I'm like, I need to get up to Rivington Pike in 20 minutes.
So the year before I did with a great team, we did the National 3 and the Yorkshire 3. I didn't know anyone. I was asked to do it through sort of a mutual friend of someone, and I went in and took part in that, and that was incredible. We did it in 34 hours. And I gave that my everything. And then the next year when I was asked to do the National 3, the Yorkshire 3 and the Welsh 3, my body just wasn't in the right mindset, and I get travel sick as well, and I became really ill. I got over it the last one just by vomiting all the way up Scarfell. But this time before Scarfell, they had to pull over the car, and I was at the side of the road, and I just wasn't well, and I knew I wasn't. And I made it to, we made it to the Yorkshire 3. I'd done one, made it to Pennygent. I'd seen Mark just before Pennygent, and I needed that. And then he was like, sorry, I'm getting emotional now. He was like, just keep going no matter what you do. And then I made it to Pennygent, and I'd let the lads go, because I was like, you two go. I don't want to be the one that holds you up. So I got down, and I remember there was no one around, and I sat in this field and I just cried. I cried for about 5 minutes on my own, because I just needed, I think my body had accepted it, but I couldn't accept it, and I needed just that 5 minutes just to think. Before I rung Mark, I needed to accept that was it, and that I rung my best friend, because I was doing it in memory of her brother for mine charity, and I rung Casey, and I was like, I'm so sorry, and she was like, never apologise, and she was crying and I was crying, and then I made the phone call to Mark and asked him to come back and collect me, and I remember getting to him, and we got in the car, and I was just so embarrassed. We made it around a corner, I was like, stop, and then I'm vomiting again, but I just wanted to get out of everything, and I was just in such a bad mindset and my body wasn't ready for it. But I did go back the next day to meet the guys at the bottom of Snowdon, because you had to do Snowdon back-to-back twice because it's a national and a Welsh. So I met them for one, and then they got quite emotional seeing me, and then I waited for them to come back down. So that was quite emotional. I was proud of them, but obviously I was, you know, very disappointed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I felt like I'd let myself down in a way. So I didn't do anything last year.
Because of that, do you think you just needed to take some time to,
Yeah.
I suppose, heal in a way? Because I understand it. Having done some crazy challenges myself, there's the line between wanting to stop because you feel like you can't go on, and wanting and needing to stop because you actually shouldn't carry on. It's really hard, and you made that decision probably for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But it's still a goal that you didn't achieve.
That's
and
it.
that will really have landed hard with you, and I totally get that. So you just needed a year off to heal that, I suppose.
That's it, and I knew that I needed to sort like my health, my precancerous cells, and I was given sort of a year to fight them, and I knew that I needed to focus on that, and I knew that I did, and that was my main focus, and I think that's when I decided to do the drop, and that was a last minute thing. I was like, let's just do it, and I didn't do any sponsorship for it because I thought I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. People always go, "Oh, who are you doing it for?" I'm like, for me.
Yeah.
Just me. That's enough.
it. And I wouldn't have had long enough, I think, to raise anything. I thought I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to see where I land. And then I landed that, and then this year I knew I wanted something, but I just couldn't think what. And I knew I wanted something that was going to push me, you know, to start kind of like my depths of despair. And I got my all clear with everything this year as well, so I know that my body's fighting fit, and I knew I was ready to go. And then obviously with Mark and I getting married this year, obviously next, you know, hopefully will be children. So I know, and I've not said this anywhere, this is the first time.
Oh, an exclusive!
This will probably be my last maybe for a while, and obviously I'll still keep up my fitness, but doing crazy things pregnant is probably not going to be an option.
I mean, I won't put it back.
I know, yeah. I wouldn't.
I probably wouldn't. So yeah, I'm kind of, this is my not going out with a bang, because I will be back with another bang.
This is your last solo event for a while.
Yeah.
It is.
Maybe with child on the next one.
Yes, this is it. So I think I'm kind of wanted to give it my all.
This is the Glencoe Marathon.
This is, yeah, and I wanted to kind of find sort of the correct charity, the right passion, the right event, and something that I was going to hate but love.
Are you like this in business? So similarly, goal-driven. Once you've done one, that's it. It's on to the next one. And does it hit you as hard if you don't achieve your business goals?
Yes, yeah, massively. I'd probably say harder. And I know that probably sounds... God! I think with fitness, it's me, my body and my mind. And the only person you're arguing with is yourself.
Yeah, very true.
The only person you're up against when you're out there and your little legs are running for England and giving it the best shot, the only person you are at war with is yourself.
Yep.
And if you can find a safe space in your mind where you can just be at one with everything, I mean, I'll probably still be like, why did I do this? Then you've
You
got
absolutely
everything
will.
you need to continue. And the only person I let down if I don't is me. Whereas in business, I think my worst fear would be to ever let a client down, or to ever let anyone else down, or to ever not achieve something. I feel like I doubt myself more in business because I'm not. I don't know why, because it doesn't make sense. But sometimes I feel like when I'm doing something physically, then I'm going to give my best to dominate it, as I will in business. But business is more mind, and your mind's a tougher battle than getting your legs to continue and pushing through an injury. Or you girls will know from the marathon, you hit a wall or something's hurting, but you just push the legs on a bit, and it is your mind over anything. In business, you've not even got that argument of, oh, it's my body or it's my mind. It's your head that's telling you. So I think that's where I probably get down on myself more, because I let that little voice come in and it tell me. And that's where at the minute I'm trying to develop, you know, this safe space in my mind where I can just go to, be at one with my thoughts and focus on what matters. And that's delivering the best I possibly can.
And I get that. And I think with your fitness, you can easily build on physical strength and endurance, and you can see it because you can see it in your times, the weights you can lift, the distance that you can go. Mentally, when we talk about it in a business sense, you cannot see resilience. You can't see determination, ambition, tenacity.
Yeah.
They're not tangible things.
No.
And so it makes sense that you don't, not as confident, it seems. And I don't agree. I think you're absolutely amazing. But I understand why you feel more confident with your body endurance and strength and progression as you do with your business mind. It makes sense. And I think a lot of people listening will probably feel the same.
Yeah.
Because it's what you can see makes more sense than what you can't see.
I think that. Do you know what? Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think you look on businesses' websites and you'll see the core values. And everyone can put anything, but like every core value that's on any of our websites for any of our businesses, it encompasses who we are. And I mean everything I say, but no one knows that. And even sometimes working with you, people don't see that. Whereas, you know, if I'm in the gym and I'm like lifting a big weight, or I've got my abs out, she got
Ruby's abs are magnificent.
But people see that and think, oh, that lady must be fit, or that lady must be driven. And I had to do a run in the gym last night because it was too warm to do it outside, and it was a fartlek run. And I thought, people must be looking at me thinking, what is that crazed woman doing? Our dripping, our bright red. But then you think, people probably do look and think, oh, well, she's determined. Whereas in business, people aren't sat watching you at your computer.
They don't see what goes on behind the scenes, do they?
No, and trying to get that across, I think, without being, you know, you have got to kind of sing your own praises, but that is something that I find quite difficult to do in a business sense. Like you say, with something physically fit, you can be like, oh, I can lift this, or I can run this in this, or I can do this in this, or I'm aiming for this time. But with business, you're kind of like, hi, I'm amazing at what I do. and I find that quite difficult to do.
Yeah. Because you're just saying, I'm amazing at what I do. You're just going to have to trust me.
Yeah.
That's it, yes.
You can't see it unless you work with me. But to work with me, you've got to trust what I'm saying is true.
That's it.
You can't see that I'm lifting it up.
That's it.
Taking it to another place. Yeah. Yeah, it makes so much sense.
And I think at what point do you know, you can say to someone, you know, I'll give you the best I can, but it's that trust. People have got to trust that you're going to deliver that, because if someone doesn't know you, unless it's on the back of a recommendation, if someone doesn't know you and who you are and what you can deliver or what you have delivered, then they've got to put that trust that what your core values say on your website, you actually stand for.
Yeah, very true. Right, so all your businesses are family-run businesses, aren't they? What do you think the strengths or the challenges maybe that come from family-run businesses? And Laura will probably sit here and be like, I agree.
Number one would be switching off.
You can't do that either, can you?
So me and Mark we might go out for date night, or might start having a meal.
And you're just chatting about work.
Naturally, sometimes it can just become, me and Mark will sit down in anywhere we go and we'll start looking around, electrical, HVAC. Look at that flooring. Oh, they've got a bit of an hole in the concrete. Oh, that flooring. Oh, this. And you do naturally do it because it's what you do. So then we might start having a discussion on how we'd change something in there or change an aspect of it, and then that'll come back to a job we're working on at the moment. Then we'll start talking about it. Then I'm like, did you do this? Did you do this? So sometimes I'm like, right, we're not going to talk about work, but then something will pop into my head and I want to talk about it because we're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not a bad thing, because sometimes, you know, we're both very passionate about construction. So sometimes we do enjoy talking about it, but sometimes you do need that downtime to just come away from it. And I think that also falls into, if there's a stressor or something, you both feel it. So whereas in a relationship where you both don't work for the same, you know, business or whatever, you can go home and one person might be stressed and the other person will comfort you and tend to your needs and look after you. Whereas when you're both stressed, it's just like a minefield, because you both want the same thing, you're trying to get to the same goal, but obviously everyone deals with emotions differently, so you feel the stress a lot more because we've just got Franco, our little dog, that's there wagging his bum trying to make everything better, and we're just both stressed. So that's definitely Franco just like tries to bring the light, like, well, look at me.
Oh.
And he does.
Go on, Franco.
So I'd say that's definitely sort of a downfall. But things I would say is that, you know each other inside and out. You've got the same goals. You are, especially with me and Mark, somebody once said, lost souls find each other, and I truly believe that for me and Mark. And
So
and I
cute.
think that's why we're both the way we are, and we're both so driven and care about other people and giving back to the community, doing the best we can, whether that's in work or helping others, doing everything we can to be, the best we possibly can. And we're both very driven in the same aspects. So I think that works. And then we've both got our strengths and our weaknesses, and you can play on them. So that also works. And I just think sometimes it lets people know that, you are more than just a business. You are about, I know everyone hates it when you say, oh, we're a family, but we obviously are a family. We employ people, obviously, that aren't family. A lot of the people we employ have worked for Mark's granddad and have known Mark since he was a baby. So they know Mark really well. So we are a family. And obviously, there is strengths and weaknesses in any family, and families are all dysfunctional and work in weird and wonderful ways. But I think it's all about just wanting the same goal and supporting each other. And I know when Mark lost his granddad, that, Mark's granddad's friends who still work for us really, stood up and protected Mark and were there for him and have stayed with us. And I know they'd do anything for Mark. And so when I say we're a family, we're definitely.
I agree with that, though. I think like when it is a family-run business, it does run through into your employees, doesn't it? 'Cause we're the same here, aren't we? It feels like a family. Dysfunctional, yes. But you do.
Show me a family that's not dysfunctional.
Very true. It's very true.
Yeah, so I feel like it does flow through like your values and stuff within your company
Does,
as well.
definitely.
So yeah, love that. Right, bit random this question.
I'm trying not to read them because I'm just preparing for them.
If you could be an animal,
Okay.
what would you be and why?
Oh, this is tough.
Maybe should have prepared you on that one.
Yeah, this is tough. Ooh, I'm trying to think now. Do you know what? I think it's not just because I love them, but a horse. I think I'd be a horse.
Okay, why?
I think because they are stubborn.
Are they? Oh yeah, they are when they don't want to
gosh.
race and
Definitely
stuff.
a chestnut mare. They're stubborn, and they're powerful. They're majestic. They're beautiful. Not that I'm any of them things, but I just
that is
think,
you, Ruby.
I think they're just everyone. People are usually scared of a horse as well. They see him as this big animal, but
Yeah.
horses are actually quite. They're scared themselves. It's all a bit of a front, and I feel like I'm sometimes a bit like that. People will be like, "Oh, you come across a little bit intimidating," or you walk into a room and seem confident. Whereas I feel like I'm a horse. I'll spook at anything. But if you don't
There's a
walk,
plastic bag blown across the road. He's like,
that's it. If you
But
don't
show
walk,
her up a mountain and leave
Yeah.
her. She's
I'll be
fine.
fine. But I think if you don't walk in there with that tail raised, trotting along, strutting your
Nostrils
stuff,
flared.
that's it. Giving a bit of fire, being like, I'm here. Instead, and that's what they do, rather than let those sort of, them fears eat them alive, they turn it into passion and drive, and that's what they do. And I feel like that's me.
Oh my, do you know what? I think this is the best answer I've ever had to this or heard to this
Yeah,
question.
that was so good.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Ruby. That's the end of your interview
Oh,
questions.
thank
You can breathe. You can breathe. But we do have a game that we like to play at the
Okay.
end
Oh, I'm excited for this.
of this. It's called Fresh or Stale.
Okay.
Have we made this up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we're going to give you some words
Okay.
or situations, whatever, and you just tell us if they're fresh,
Yeah.
yay, or stale.
Okay. Perfect. I can do this, I think.
So, working with your partner.
Ooh. Fresh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to work with your partner? No.
No, I'd have to say I love him. I'm marrying him, but I would say stale.
And I don't have a partner, but I'd probably hate to work with him if I had one. What about office dogs?
Fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the correct answer.
Although he doesn't come into the office that much, doesn't Franco?
Aw.
Just because there's too many noise. With him being a working cocker, he's too alert to everything. So, like, if there's something downstairs in the garage, like, there's one thing that uses, like, air pressure, and that terrifies him. And then all you hear on the... walking round, like, on the floor, and I'm like...
Aw.
Need carpet instead.
Yeah, and I would, if anyone said it was stale, I'd be like, you're not welcome in the Fresh office yet. What about running marathons?
Stale. No.
I would say stale right now.
No, definitely fresh. I just think you put a lot into training, don't you? Your world has to encompass it. You girls will know that from the past how many weeks of training. And then you do it and you're thinking, why did I ever do this? But then they give you a passion, a buzz.
I mean, once you do it, I feel like you've got to wait. Right now, I'm in the stale mode.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe in a week's time, I'll be like, yay, but right now, it's stale. Do you agree, or are you still on the fresh
I
side?
don't know. I think I'm just on the turn. I think between fresh and stale.
You're like,
Well,
this
you could
in
do
the middle.
Glencoe.
No, I can't run up hills, babe.
Neither can I.
Hills are my kryptonite, honestly.
The next one, Laura's put this one in. Bridesmaids.
Stale.
You best not say stale.
Fresh all the way.
Weddings themselves
Are they stale as well?
they're stale. Oof. I mean, I think, do you know what? I was having a chat with Jess, our marketing executive, the other day about it, and she was like, I don't think it helps that you do events, because I want it to be how I'd want it to be for my client, which is perfection.
Yeah.
And we all know perfection doesn't exist, but I'll give it my best. And because I don't have that much control over it, I feel like it's just stale.
Don't do it, guys.
Elope.
Are you saying fresh or stale? Or bridesmaids or weddings?
Fresh.
Fresh. And then the last one is 10k runs.
Ooh, fresh, I'd say.
Fresh, yeah, easy.
Well, yeah, we weren't sure how you answer this because we're like, 10k. I mean, so far behind me now because I'm like marathon runner, crazy 15-mile drop gal. But we thought we weren't sure which way you would go, like whether you would bother doing a 10k or if you like actually easy, let's do it.
I think that they're great for getting a good time and learning to pace yourself.
Yeah.
I think they're great for getting event ready. I think you're preparing, then you're more prepared for when you've got your big event. But also I think throughout my training plan, I think I'm going to enter a few maybe like 10k trail runs, but as events, just
10k
to get
trail runs.
I think because you'll know what it's like when you're out for a run and you're Sunday running, it's your long run. You're just like, oh, I'll just pause a sec, pause my watch, stop a minute. But when you're in an event, you know you've got to give it everything, and it kind of gives you a bit of an idea. And London, I think, is a really stressful starting because there's so many people and you're all herded in like cattle. So I think sometimes even preparing just for that bit, because it's not like when you just go out your front door, you put your earphones on and off you go.
You are right.
And then you're feeling nervous, you're all stood there, and it's like, you know, they're going to say start any minute and you have to go slowly until you cross the line because you're with loads of people. I think it's just preparing yourself for that. And also, at a race, I'm always so tempted to set off as quick as I can. Whereas I know with Glencoe, that'll be the worst thing I could ever do. So I'm thinking that doing some events throughout my training will help me to prepare for all that, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm here for the 10Ks. Send me your 10Ks.
Are you on fresh or stale?
Fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah, there's Charlie 10k this weekend.
On Sunday.
Southport 10k in August.
Okay. Oh, these are, I might enter a few of these.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do Southport.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
it's my friend's 30th this Saturday, so maybe not.
No, don't do this one this weekend. And it's full of hills as well, Charlie 10k, so don't do
we
it.
don't like hills.
No, we don't like hills. But that's the end of our interview with you.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
so
it.
much for coming on, Ruby.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed chatting to you. And if anyone wants to go and listen, we are on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon,
Apple.
Apple. Please like, subscribe, leave us a review, and we will have another very interesting guest with us soon. So thank you for joining us. Bye.